Wait, PlayStation Neo? Coop, I just bought a PlayStation 2. Spacebar. I'm Nick Gregorio. Welcome to the Bar and the Stars. Today we're talking game consoles, but first, joining me, you know him from Inside Gaming, it's Brandon Winfrey. Thanks for being here, Brandon. He's a hardcore gamer and host. It's Marcus Moore. What up, Marcus? He's loud and cranky like that broken PS2 I bought off eBay. It's Phil Lorigo.
I will haunt you forever.
I know. It was actually a Genesis box filled with Atari games. So
it's a metaphor.
What are we sipping on? Oh, it's the early upgrade. I think the PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U are drinking this one too. Check the description for the recipe. Drink along with us. We start, as always, with a round of quick shots. It did this to you guys.
A lot of early drinking on this.
All right, come on, bang it down. I want to know, which of the upcoming consoles are you most excited for? Let's go down the line. Brandon, start with you.
I got to go with the NX because we don't know what it is yet. The other ones, we know what it is. This one, no idea. It's got that mystery.
Okay. What about you, Marcus?
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
All day.
All right, Xbox fanboy. Phil?
I'm going Scorpio because I think they're doing some weird stuff on the back end with it.
All right. I'm going with the NX. I think it's pretty cool. I'm a Nintendo fanboy a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think we're reaching a new point in the console game where we saw this minimal increment kind of shift with the Xbox One S and the PlayStation, what do they call it, Slim, Flat?
It's going to be slim.
It's slim.
What'd you call it earlier?
Diet, skinny. Oh, it's literally looks like a panini was broken and only one side was hot. So it got pressed down. It looks terrible, man.
The
It's like
PlayStation half a
cheese?
panini press, that one? Yeah.
It's just-
I don't know, are you impressed with the new specs for these kind of like incremental leaps?
Really, these are just making them smaller. Like there's a couple upgrades to the 1S, but it's like they took away the IR sensor. Like it's not a whole lot.
Oh, contraire, mon ami. The 1S is the Xbox One S. I mean, it's intriguing to me. You get 4K streaming and a 4K Blu-ray player.
Okay,
which
okay,
looks
there's
pretty
that
good.
stuff.
There's HDR. I know no one cares about that, but if you're into camera tech, that gives you more range from white to black in your image quality, and that's pretty important, especially when you're gaming.
Right.
I'm not a spokesperson for Xbox. Green drink.
You sound like it. I think it's just.
Wow.
To me, this was less for consumers and more for their production purposes. Like the reason we get slim versions is because they found out how to produce them cheaper. So that's what they do. They refresh the line, obviously, but then they can just make it cheaper, and then they get more money on the back end. But
Like when PlayStation 3 did away with backwards compatibility and took out the actual PlayStation 2 chips, and they're like, no, it's a feature that you can't play your PS2 games anymore.
Exactly.
The Slims, I think consumers win in that sense where they generate less heat usually, they're not as loud, and it's like a newer version if you didn't have that, but I completely agree. It's all for them.
I mean, I'm glad the Xbox has a slim version because the Xbox One
It was gigantic.
Right, it's giant.
This
it's
is
a
it
giant
right here.
event.
See this danger thing? That's an Xbox One.
Well, Marcus,
In case
what
you
do you
were.
think? Like, you're a big Xbox fan. Is the 1S exciting for you, or is it something like you already have an Xbox One, you're cool?
So I have the Xbox One. The S is exciting just because of the white feature and how cool and sleek it looks. But because it's smaller, heating fans is actually louder than Xbox One.
They're my rub.
So I am actually waiting till they
going
officially
Scorpions?
come. I'm definitely going Scorpio. Like as soon as it comes out, I'm either doing something ridiculous with the Xbox One that I currently have to show that it's done.
Okay.
Like blowing it
So,
up.
I mean,
much.
it's projected that Scorpio is going to be the most powerful system of the lot that's coming here. But does it really matter anymore? Do we need powerful consoles?
Yes, I think you do. I think you do not just for dick stroking, but like the hardcore fan base, like they need. I mean, if you
Like
look at
you mean like when you're in a message board and you're like, my dick's
yeah,
bigger than you."
exactly. You know, you get to see your e-peen and all that kind of jazz. But no, I think it's still important because what you're seeing, not only just for gamers, but for developers as well, to really realize their visions. And I think that's why this step that we had, again, technology is just shooting off at a rocket pace. Like that's why we're getting more consoles in a more brevetary space. Made up that word, brevetary.
Bread.
2 sips of Ecto Cooler and motherfuckers make
real
words
bread.
up.
There we go. I'm Shakespeare.
What up, Rev?
Yeah. But I just think we need them nowadays in order to keep up with PC, right? Everybody wants to have this range. And if you're always behind, if you're deving something for something where PC at this end and the console is still at this end, you're gonna have more bugs and all that kind of jazz.
See, that's where I like to your last point. I want them to actually get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer until they just fucking disappear.
Well, that's what
To
they're
where
doing
it's
with
just-
phones now. It's like Apple has the race to getting you no phone anymore.
But just the notion of a powerful app that actually holds every single last game that you play, there's no console anymore.
Right.
There's just
And we're getting
online
closer and
games.
closer to that. I mean, look at the Apple TVs. They're not powerhouses, but they do 4K. You have all these apps and things. And Phil, you talked about this before, the cloud-based
That's what I
element
think.
of rendering and
When Microsoft was like, Scorpio is going to be the most powerful console ever. Like, that's a really odd statement to make before you announce specs. You even announce what your GPU is, and you don't even know what Sony's doing. And when we all speculated here over drinks, I was like, I think, because I know for like Crackdown 3, they showed how they were doing like physics and a bunch of shit with cloud computing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think they're going to shift it all over to that. They're going to still have an upgraded console, but so much is going to be done on the back end, and they're just going to, I'm not a fucking coder, I don't know about architecture, but if you have a lot of people doing the same thing, you're going to know those physics, calculations. You're going to know how to do that, and if you can do that all in the cloud and have everybody get this major jump, then over what people just have in their house, I think it might be cheaper in the long run because you can sell them a box once and have a subscription to Xbox Live, which is this dope cloud-based super graphics powerhouse that's always upgrading, and that's what it is. Its subscription is fantastic, rather than like consoles. You got to keep.
And I agree with that though, because if you have all you really need now, you need a machine that can handle frame rates and resolution. That's all you really need. You need a graphics card that can pretty much spit out plus 120 frames per second at 4K. I think that's how the Xbox Scorpio is going to be very powerful. And then again, the graphics, they don't use as much processing power as they once did. They can kind of outsource that. But I think at the machine base, you need to be running something that can show that image at the proper frame rate. I think that's where you still need a powerful console. That's why PCs work so well, because whenever you get jammed up, you buy a new graphics card and you're like, here we go, we're good.
But here's where I think it gets weird is it might fork off, and if Xbox Scorpio is this weird cloud-based thing, or it's just that much more powerful than PlayStation Neo, development is going to be really difficult, almost like back in the days of the 16-bit era when you had 2 systems that were really fucking different. And I don't know how that's going to affect the business, or if the next
Games, I mean, I hope for that because I'm like, man, the current game market is so watered down. It's all copycat shit.
What?
Yeah.
Let them on
Speak
fire.
on
Put them
it.
on
I think
blast.
you got some rose-colored glasses there because there's so much opportunity within, especially the indie space. It is true that AAA games are they're sticking to old franchises that they know and love. But other than that, I think this indie space gives you so much that we have never seen before that's getting
Oh, you
opportunity
mean like
to be
another
expressed.
like very atmospheric side scroller I
Well,
could play that deals in shadows?
Well,
and,
there's
like,
that, but
you don't
like-
jump, but you float on a fart, and then you rewind time or some whatever
Right, but-
fucking nonsense. Like every one of them is the same now.
Right, but let's
it's
talk
like a
about,
little
like-
emo kid that like cuts himself and the blood flutters him off into the.
Well, yeah, sometimes you need that though. No, I was talking about
I
like
know,
No
I'm
Man's
farting,
Sky.
it's cool.
Like No Man's Sky, I don't think it would have been viably possible. And no matter what you think about No Man's Sky,
No Man's Sky looks like a game like, hey, you want to clean your room or you want to play No Man's Sky? And I'm like right in the middle. I'm like, the room is messy and I can organize the shit out
But
of it.
can
Or I
you
can
name-
organize a fake spaceship.
Can you name the piles of shit in your room? That's
You
the thing.
can. You can be like, that's a Kloop Klarp and that's a Florb Dab. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I'm being stupid.
I think that a lot of that is rose-colored glasses because I think we are in a golden age of gaming. Like even
I
this-
want 2 different Aladdins. That's
Maybe-
what I want. I want like, wow, this Aladdin is so much different. I want the Super Nintendo Aladdin and the Genesis Aladdin. I want that for this current gen of
Okay, but
console.
it's a shooter, and he's shooting dream dust out of the genie bottle.
I don't disagree with what
Is
you're
that
saying.
okay?
That's my point.
No,
You're
that's-
too young to play either of those games.
Well, what will it matter if no one can actually afford 4K TV?
It's true.
That's true.
That,
That's a good-
yeah, I don't know that many people. The adoption rate on 4K, I think, is just starting
Right.
to pick up. It's
We're getting there, though. I mean, I'm telling you, the window close. I've been following 4K since before they even had the TVs.
But you're
and
a
the window
cinematographer, and, like, no one
has
gives a
gotten
shit.
so much. But you can buy a really nice 4K TV for $4,000. If you rewind time
For
and go
$4,000.
But no, if you think about it, when the first plasmas came out, those were like 10 Gs. So it's
Here's the difference. You can get a fucking Vizio for probably $600. That's 4K right now.
Costco.
Or
Yeah.
if you don't give a shit
That's
about
what I'm
that,
saying, like,
you can
that's a
spend
decent-
$300 and get a 1080p 65-inch whatever, and knockoff TCL or some bullshit, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, I'll take this 65-inch fucking whatever. Nobody, I don't think the main consumers care about that. But back to your point, Brandon, about when you're saying this is a golden age for gaming or there's a lot going on. When you talk about all this extra horsepower, indie games they can't tap into that because it's usually a one-man team or a five-man team.
Yeah,
Even
those
the Mighty
for
Number
sure.
9, which cost $4 million, that was a small. I'm not saying anything about the game. I'm just saying like for what that did, they're not using.
I don't even want to go on that Mighty Number 9 tip.
That's
They
it.
did what they
Poke
could
the
for
bear.
$3 million. All right, everyone relax.
And when I say it's the golden age of gaming, I mean like it's a various different things because honestly, my golden age of gaming is like back in the PS2 era. But now it's like, look what came out in a 3-week period or something like that. Overwatch, Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, Doom. Like those are all
right,
really
okay,
great
I'll give you
games.
that,
Like,
yes.
and we can't disregard that this generation
There was one
hasn't
really great
given
game
us some
there,
great
too.
stuff.
Cool. I want to go back to what we were talking about before.
Asshole.
So Microsoft's Alan Greenberg said that this might be the last console generation. We touched on it a little bit. What do you guys think? Let's go down the line. Brandon, what?
I think what he means by that is they're blurring the lines a lot. They're doing that famous song. What's the guy's name that sang that song? Blurred lines, and he had the ladies dancing. He was
Robin
like,
Alan
Robin
Thicke.
Thicke.
No, it was the dad.
his
Alan
dad.
Thicke. It was the
Dad.
dad. That's it. It was a way worse version.
I hope they.
Alice P.
Can somebody gif him doing blurred lines and he's like a flicker at the bottom over and over? I'll get it tattooed if you do.
Oh, great. They have gift tattoos now.
Hey man, I got a guy. I'm just saying, okay?
We're safe.
I'm almost done with my ecto cooler.
If you move fast enough, it does.
All right, blurred lines.
All right.
In which way?
But I just think that it's. Wait, what was the question?
Marcus.
Jesus.
So when Alan Greenberg of Microsoft says that this is the last console generation we might be dealing with, Marcus, what do you think he means by that? Are we going to go cloud-based, as you insinuated earlier?
I think that cloud-based is definitely a direction. I think that the oxymoron of Steam will actually slow down because I think it'll just start to cannibalize itself in a sense. I mean, if everything is online, there's no console in theory, but everything is just this powerful ass app. I think that there's going to be some interesting things. It's like they've already started to backlog or be able to back in the fact that you can get your old 360 games and play those. So they're trying to create a universe to where you can actually, whatever game you used to have, you now have access to it, because I think they fucked up real bad when
They said there was no backwards compatibility,
Yeah,
and everyone was
absolutely.
like, how come? And they were like, we didn't put it in it. We didn't. We could have easily put it in it. but
You
we were
read the
just
launch
like,
materials,
oh,
like the greatest ever, and like, what about backwards compatibility? Like, nah, we don't know, man.
I just bought 100 games like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can't play?
Where'd
What
they
about
go?
you, Bills?
Look, remember all those services like OnLive and whatever, where you have a shitty little box and somewhere there's a PC in Arizona that you're
Yeah.
controlling, and internet connections are good enough that you're
Deep cut.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to be this kind of mixture of current console and cloud-based, and how it's going to be a player in the same way that like on a shitty Roku or even a fucking 15-year-old HP that has, if it has Wi-Fi, like you can still watch Netflix on it. And if your thing can handle the display and resolution, you're just going to be streaming it from somewhere else. And
yeah.
that's
Many
why I
years
think
ago,
it's going to.
at Drexel University, in Paul Diefenbach's Futures of New Media class, we talked about one box to rule them all, like one thing that's like you get everything to it. And what I think it is you need a machine that can handle frames per second and resolution.
Yeah.
And besides that, everything else is just piped in.
I think we're still a long way from streaming good, because you can stream. Actually, Sony just announced that PlayStation Now, which is their streaming service,
Yeah.
is available on PC.
Yeah.
And I just think there's still latency there. So I think multiplayer is such a
There's
big.
also not a single fun game to play.
Well,
There's that's
well, it is. They're like almost their
I had
entire
it for
Is
half
that
the
history.
literal
year.
green Kool-Aid? Are you drinking the Xbox?
No, I'm saying I had it, and I was like, there would be games, you're like, oh, here we go, I'm going to dive in. But a lot of the new, and I guess these are like the AAA titles.
Well, it's PS3. Like it's PS3 stuff. So it's not even the newest stuff.
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter. Like, Do you go back to Super Mario Brothers and be like, well, it's it's
I don't play.
Nintendo.
I don't think a
It
lot of people play Super Mario Brothers anymore.
Just because you're young and we're old, and you gotta make us feel bad about it.
Can I just throw out one quick comparison? What I think is right now when everybody has a powerful console in their home, that's everybody owning a car. But when you get these cloud-based things that are inevitably going to happen, again, it might be Scorpio Neo, it might be 2 gens down the line.
It's a rocket pack.
No, it's public transportation. It's there. Whether you use it or not, someone else can ride in your seat. You don't need a box. Because I remember that I've gone through stretches where if I'm really busy or if I'm on vacation or if I just don't want to play anything, my fucking Xbox or PlayStation sit there and collect dust. And I don't need that. You can turn your subscription off.
Or if you're able to actually, campaign while you're actually not in front of your TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, that's a great segue. Nintendo. I'm very excited for the NX.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo, love them or hate them, think they rehash the same titles. The games they make are solid. And on every console iteration that Nintendo's had, you have at least 10 games you can go back to and play.
Solid in what form? Like solid in like 8-bit form?
As in they exist, you can touch it, and it's so.
No, they're good games. If you go back to
Sweep
the
the
game
leg, you
queue,
two.
I mean,
Did you guys choreograph that before? Now I'm gonna tell him this, and then you jump on that. Defend it, man. Come on,
no,
let's see
the
it.
controls are rock solid. You know how everything moves. The
Because you
graphics
can move
are
left
always.
and right?
I'm not talking. I didn't say the Nintendo. I said Nintendo, a company, and then we octopus arms to the various consoles they've released.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't like playing first-person shooters.
No. I love Nintendo games.
They're the
so
third party.
It's fine.
They're the independents. There's the Republicans and Democrats, and then
They're
they
Green
are-
Party.
Marcus,
Nintendo
will
is.
you look in the camera so I can put, and will you say Nintendo is the Bernie Sanders of games, so I can fucking make that and then post it and meme you? We're gonna gift you.
He's saying they're the Ralph Nader.
Drink me.
Nintendo's the guy that's like, everyone will have a toothpick. You're like, all right, slow your roll, bro.
Like
I agree
everybody
with that.
likes them, but it's only so much that you can play with them.
No, I don't. I mean, but everything you play with them is good. For me at least, it's a much better gaming experience. It's a more well-rounded
It's
gaming
more
experience.
focused, is
More
how
family.
I would say it.
It's family.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is just
everybody
kind of
gather
a,
around,
it's kind of a
campfire.
bummer. Because if you
How
look,
young are you? No, that's like Wii strategy.
I know things changed after the 64 and with GameCube and everything, but just imagine a Nintendo console today where you could play your Mario Kart, your Zelda, and your first-party Mario titles, but also play the newest Mortal Kombat and the newest sports games with graphics and sound that fucking matched up to everything else. Because that's how it used to be.
Right.
That's how Nintendo NES was.
Yeah.
That's how Super Nintendo was, and to an extent, that's how N64 was. And then they kind of branched off with a different strategy. And I don't
think you're gonna get that old strategy back with the NX.
think
Right.
so either.
Yeah.
No, but
I hate to wrap this up, but it's last call, final round. Was this last generation of consoles a disappointment? We'll start with you, Brandon.
As far as new IP generation, yes. But as far as like tech and everything they've included with these consoles, no. So
So you play with the tech a lot. You go home and you
well,
just like do a
but,
little
you know,
speed.
well, but I'm saying like even the iterations of these classic franchises.
Teraflops.
Well, the iterations of the classic franchises they've had have still been good. Like Doom revamped it into something amazing.
right, Doom was great, yeah.
Yeah, and then but other than that, there haven't been enough new franchises. There was Sunset Overdrive, which was incredible, but like other than that, there hasn't been much. So I wish there was just more IPs, but that's a publisher thing. That's not necessarily a console thing.
mitigating risk. You don't want to come up with something.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, Marcus?
I think that it is a Thai massage place, meaning that it's a tuck and rub,
Okay.
meaning that you have to pay for more. This is just a teaser.
Got
This
it.
is just to get you off for the moment, and then we're gonna actually
So you're saying like DLC kind of almost killed this generation?
a little bit.
Yeah. That's a fair argument. It's like, hey, the game, well, you don't get the whole game.
Right.
Remember that? I mean, even with like, Arkham City, like, we don't get the Catwoman DLC. You're like, well,
Wow.
why would you show? Why does the trailer have Catwoman fighting
Right.
with Batman? Like, well, that's how it goes.
You'll pay for it later. I think it's hard to assign a value. I think it depends who you are. I think if you're gamers, yeah, it was a success as long as it had a short lifespan. It was a fucking goldfish you won at the carnival, and you're like, yay, and then it dies 4 years later. For the companies, yeah, they get to put out new systems, and we're gonna buy them. Yes, I know there's R&D. Yes, there's overhead, and their margins are small and that shit. But they're gonna build new stuff, and people are gonna buy it, and they're gonna sell their old ones on the secondhand market. As we transition in society with everything to episodic gaming, to freemium games and all that stuff, people's attention spans get shorter. and you don't mind. You know, I feel like the 360 came out how long ago? People stared at
2005.
that. Yeah, 2005. People stared at that for 7 years and didn't get sick of it. Now people are looking at their Xbox and PS4 and being like, I'm fucking sick of you. Where's the next one? And I think people want it.
Actually, where do you buy your goldfish the last 4 years?
Oh no. Oh, I'm saying
It was a beta
it
fish,
was-
and he held the mirror in front of it for exercise. That's all the time we have for today. Let's recap what we've learned. Brandon Winfrey thinks we do need powerful consoles, not just for dick stroking, although that sounds fun, but also to help out the game developers. Sounds like the biased opinion of a former developer to me.
Did you
I'm
have
a
anything to do with
apologist.
Sunset Overdrive?
I'm just.
I just didn't. It's just
I
for
did
yes.
have something to do with it, but hey, I can toot my own
The
horn.
defense rests.
Marcus Moore says he'll buy the Scorpio as soon as he can and then do something ridiculous with his old Xbox One. Maybe he'll realize his long-lost dream of seeing the world's thinnest console and sand it down until you can't see it anymore.
Are you console shaming
Xbox
right now? Do you
paper.
only want the thin ones? Is that what's happening?
I just want them to
Xbox.
disappear.
Phil Arrigo has set a dangerous precedent here on Spacebar and is the first panelist to get so frustrated he left his seat to get more booze for himself.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
I'm
That's
not
what
angry
happened
at it,
there.
I'm just saying.
I know it's no disrespect because you were talking, but he set it off. He started the fire, and then you were cleaning up the mess, and then I had to go because that's what happens in space.
As for me, Nick Gregorio, I've decided I'm not going to play No Man's Sky or clean my room. Instead, I'm going home to play all my old Nintendo games by myself. I'd like to invite you guys, but I know you wouldn't come, so screw you. Bottoms up, ass is out, the space bar is closed. No booze left.
Last time I came over, your mom turned me away. Is she? What's the deal?